I never slip. Matching on the cliff, got bad bitches dancing barefoot on the hood of my whip. Life out as good as it get. I'm from the hood, it's a thrill. It's ironic that I be grabbing enough to cook up a meal. Bad bitches damn near evil, barely legal, but they can't go through the day without a brew in the A. Cause you can beg security until you blew in the face. But we maneuver through the truest coming through the estate. I keep a bad little bizzle, champagne bubble, campaign fizzle for shizzle, my nizzle, you in trouble. Cloud surf the earth, just loud, perfect the wax too much, but fuck it, it's nothing, I lean in.
Just relax, enjoy the high, rising to the skies, the stars are floating by. We call that good, cush pillows. Just relax, enjoy the high, rising to the skies, the stars are floating by. We call that
It was a typical day in Los Angeles, California. At least that's how it started. The weather was warm and unassuming, rolling down one of the blocks, just taking in the scenery. One of the neighbors was out front with his big ass red lawnmower, mowing his little itty bitty lawn, all the while smoking a blunt. As the older man pushes back and forth the lawnmower, he inhales and exhales a thick ass cloud of smoke. After a few hits, he stops, he looks up, allowing his eye to just sink in. Just another day in the hood, he thinks to himself and continues mowing. A few doors down from the older man, there's another house with a couple triple OGs just sitting on the porch. They catch eyes with the man mowing his lawn and give a friendly acknowledging nod. They sit facing each other as one of them offers a 40 ounce of Old English to the other one. And it's a general call of agreement as the 40s are passed around. You know, cracked open and consumed. A freshly rolled blunt is also consumed. Each gangster takes a hit and passes to his left. As the last gangster hits it, a group of younger, bad little brizzles begin their stroll past the porch. Immediately, each one of them turn their attention to the hood rat, while the women purposely pay them no mind. The three gangsters give out instinctive mating calls. Hey, hey, what up, girl? Damn, you's a bad bitch. Come over here, girl. You know you wanna get this dick up in ya. Though the women try and play their interactions off as bothersome, they are fully aware that they will continue turning their heads. Each of the women are dressed in booty shorts and halter tops. Once they pass the house, they laugh to one another about how thirsty the men were. Low key. One of them really wanted to go back and let one of them seduce her, but she decides to play her position and go back later to play hard to get. As they continue to walk, they pass these two essays tagging on a connecting wall. One of the dudes is a lookout, a job he takes with pride, especially considering the three women that casually passed by. The other man actively tags his crew's name on the wall with a blue spray can. For a moment, he glances at his partner who is too busy checking out the women who just walked by. Irritated by his homie's lack of focus, he threw the spray can at his head, startling his ass back into reality. Then the artist continues his piece of art, allowing himself to focus, and then zoning out to the welcoming sound of the neighborhood ice cream man. Despite the cheesy factor of the music choice, about a half dozen neighborhood kids congregate around the ice cream man's van. And even though the kids was throwing all these complicated orders, that Middle Eastern man still was able to fill the orders with ease. Feels like the right place to be on this awesome 90-degree summer day in sunny California. Offbeat singing fills the air. The singing is coming from the shower of a house across from where the ice cream man is parked. Luckily, the kids outside can't hear that horrible voice struggling through the song. The shower is housing a Kenyan by the name of Funk. Funk had moved to the States as a child with his parents when he was only 7 years old. His parents had opened up a market off Western that had obtained a steady enough business for them to not have to move back to Kenya. Now, though Funk was currently bathing, Funk had obtained his name from the weird hormonal stench he emitted from his body, despite large amounts of deodorant and lotion. It didn't help that he often wore outfits that he put on more than once, hardly ever doing laundry. After a straight run through the song and fully bathed, Funk stepped out the shower onto the tile floor. For a moment he paused, looked at himself in the mirror, grabbed his silver chain from the sink and slung it around his neck, feeling complete. Newly fitted with the dark blue jeans he wore yesterday and a plain black t-shirt, Funk walks out the front door, taking a deep breath and looking up towards the sky. He takes off down the driveway. No sooner than his warm black chucks touch the sidewalk, Funk pauses. Oh, I forgot something. Funk spots the missing item on the chair in the dining room. Despite the heat outside, Funk grabs his black bomber, slipped that hot bitch on and slid back out the door. Walking down the driveway with a small smirk on his face, Funk reaches in his jacket and draws an iPod from an inside pocket. He slips the earbuds into his ear and cradles the iPod, carefully seeking his Get Right song.
We're not against rap. We're not against rappers. But we are against those thugs.
Thuggish Ruggish Bone blasts through the earbuds. Funk instantly sings along, showing off his non-existent vocal skills. This doesn't matter to him as he makes his way down the street. After Funk passes his house, he sees the two bad little Brizzles walking up the block, and Funk quickly puts on his little gangster stroll to impress him. As he approaches, it is obvious that his unique smell is in the air. Ooh, wait, what's that smell? One of the women by the name of Sorrel asked. I don't know, but it smells like shit-toasted barbecue sandwiches, Tanya replied. Is it that nigga right there? Tanya subtly motions towards Funk. Deciding to play it cool, Funk keeps his earbuds in. As he got closer, he started singing louder so he can impress him with his vocals. Sorrel grabbed her ears. Tanya grabbed her nose as they passed by. Playing hard to get, Funk doesn't even look back, so he ain't even see him gagging and laughing up the block. I know they want a piece of this Mandingo warrior, he thinks to himself as he arrives at his destination. Funk turns up a driveway to the left about 4 to 5 houses down from his. There's a porch on the left with 4 empty folding chairs that are usually occupied with the house's inhabitants and guests. Right now it seemed deserted, as Funk made his way up to the door and rang the doorbell. Inside the house were various occupants who belonged to the Hustla Nation clique. Now the Hustla Nation was known all around the block for keeping it real all the time. Anything they did, it was 100% hood, and they did it big. And their house was no exception. Pictures of famous black icons decked all of the walls, including a large picture of Tupac that everybody in the house acknowledged in the morning whenever they first woke up. But you knew niggas live here because Newport boxes was on the kitchen table and the coffee table in the living room, and it was roaches, but they was in the ashtray. Inside, Swift pops his head out of his room and calls to the other occupants. Yo, can somebody get the door? I bet it's that nigga Funk. Swift was one of the main players in the Hustla Nation group. His dream is to become a well-known rap star. Over the past 3 years, he had put out about 5 street mixtapes that have received lukewarm reviews. Because of Swift's real-life street credit, from his 28 years of living in the hood and hustling, many people respected what he had to say. However, his delivery was still lacking and he wasn't one to take criticism well. Now, he was preparing the house for Funk's arrival by spraying massive amounts of air freshener and refilling each one of the candy dishes with mints and Tic Tacs. Another occupant sticks his head out from his bedroom door, adds his 2 cents. Man, you get the damn door. I just took a shower and I ain't trying to get funky again. That nigga armpits could clear out the ozone layer. Now Money Green comes into the room. I don't have time for this, he thinks to himself. Money Green gets his name from his love of money. Now how much he actually has as a part-time cashier, Lord have mercy. He pulls in just enough to stay afloat. Jasmine, his high-maintenance girlfriend, ends up taking a cut of his check with her extravagant taste, leaving Money with hardly any money at all, causing him to be a payment or 2 behind on his car note. So Swift yells back to Money, you always asking for favors, but always have something to say when somebody asks you to do something. Angrily, Swift heads into the kitchen and grabs the handle on the stainless steel refrigerator. He stands for a moment, admiring the multiple 40-ounce bottles of King Cobra and Old English, Church's chicken takeout box, and his final destination, the large jug of Kool-Aid. Once he grabs the jug, he sets it on the counter and heads over to the cabinet right next to the refrigerator, opens it, and takes out a collectible Shrek cup from McDonald's. He pours his cold glass of Kool-Aid, takes a swig, and relaxes for a moment. The other occupant, who has been sitting in the living room playing video games on the PS3, pauses his game. Damn, can somebody do something around here? I'll get the damn door. It's just Funk. L the hustler sets the controller down and gets up to open the door. L is Swift's best friend, aka Road Dogg, with quite a mouthpiece on. His favorite pastime is talking shit to people. This works for him because, also as an aspiring rap artist, unlike Swift, L the hustler has a nice delivery. It's just that he spends most of his time talking shit about everybody from around the way, and in return, they haven't received his mixtapes all that well. Maniac, another Hustla Nation member, enters the living room. Yeah, he's just the funkiest person on earth. Fuck that. In the recent days, Maniac has had a horrible toothache from the mouthful of gold and cubic zirconium he has instead of real teeth. Generally, he's a pretty cool guy. Then again, he can get out of hand, hence the nickname. So El the Hustler reaches the door, unlocks it, nods to Funk to come in, and turns around to head back to the couch. Before he can get out, a nose shot of Funk hits the air and catches him and he gags. Funk takes the invitation and steps into the house, still singing Bone Thugs and Harmony as he makes his way into the living room. As he returns to the couch, El prods the other members of the house into playing him an NBA Live. Being his typical self, he had already tried getting everybody else worked up earlier by talking massive amounts of shit. Money Green, you finally ready to play some live? I've been waiting all morning to take your money. I'm like the landlord, just taking your money on a regular basis. Money had just entered the living room, looks on at El doing his routine woofing. El takes a stack of bills out his pocket and begins counting out loud. 45, 55, 7, hold up, wait. When he finishes, he grabs 2 bills and hands them to Maniac. Here. Take this $2 back. You need it. Damn teeth so yellow and bright, I'm getting cataracts just sitting here looking at them. I mean, damn, I know you work for the city, but do your teeth work for the sun, nigga? This gets a laugh out of Swift, listening from the kitchen and Money. Man, I'm about to whip your ass. I'm tired of hearing all that damn yippity-yap. Money Green lets out after his chuckle. He sits down next to El on the couch and picks up the controller that had been resting on top of the Vibe and High Times magazines. Maniac takes a seat next to Money on the couch while Swift emerges from the kitchen and swoops in on the oversized chair. Funk looks around at everyone and finally decides to park it on the floor away from everybody else. As the game begins, Swift rolls up a blunt for the official waking bait. Once rolled, Swift lights it up and begins to pass it around the room, allowing Money and El to hit it during the timeouts. Maniac heads over to the entertainment system by the television and puts on some Tupac, blasting it so loud that the guys could barely hear each other. From the large living room window that faces their driveway, Maniac spots a car pulling up. It's the pastor's son, Preacher Man. Preacher Man has grown up with the Hustla Nation members and hasn't given up on them, so to speak. Though he carries around a Bible everywhere he goes and stays quoting scriptures, this holier-than-thou Stacey Adams wearing man of the cloth partakes in smoking himself. It is this clarity that allows the Hustla Nation team to allow him to still kick it. Preacher Man enters the front door and spots everyone in the living room. Y'all know y'all going to hell, right? You know, for living the way you live and everything. Well, at least we won't be alone. We'll have you right there with us, nigga. Money Green responds, attracting laughs all around. I'm going to heaven. You just watch and see. Nigga, that's bullshit. How you gonna make it to heaven and we ain't? We all doing the same shit? Asked El the Hustler. I know that's right. I mean, just because your father is the pastor don't mean you get a guaranteed ticket into heaven, nigga. Explains Swift. Well, I know what to say to get in, Preacher Man says calmly. And for a small fee, I give you the inside information. With that, he pulls out his Bible and sets his fedora hat on the coffee table. A small fee for what? To hear you jibber jabber? El asks without waiting for the response, returns to his NBA Live game with Money and adds, now that's entertainment. Well, now everyone else break bread and listen. Preacher Man squeezes in next to Swift and begins breaking down heaven and hell. He gets lost a few times, pointing out scriptures that prove his point, but nonetheless, he meant well. Moments later, the doorbell rings, but between the music and Preacher Man's sermon, no one in the house hears it. A moment later, a baseball cap-toting, light-skinned, chunky young man strolls into the house. Puff Puff, aka Buzz Killer, gets his alias from smoking everyone else's herbs, and once he's high, telling long, drawn-out stories that nobody else is trying to hear or follow. What's cracking, my niggas? Seeing the half-smoked blunt still being passed around. Let me hit that. Preacher Man takes the blunt from Swift, hits it once, and passes it to Puff. As he takes it from his hand, Puff takes a long drag. Inhale, then lets go of a large cloud of smoke. Feeling better? He lends his attention to Preacher Man, who is still giving his bit about heaven and hell. Y'all should really listen to him. There ain't no air conditioning or water in hell. Puff offers this advice while he sits looking at the group, still holding the blunt, taking a small hit, and then continues. All y'all gonna do is sweat and be miserable down there hell for eternity. But just because you go to church don't mean you have an invitation into the pearly gates. You feel me? And when you don't go to church, what do you think those odds are? Preacher man asks. As soon as the question leaves his mouth, the house phone rings. Hey, you want me to get that? Maniac offers. Relax and let the real gangster get it, Swift responds, lifting himself off the chair and walking into the kitchen to answer the phone. Hello, Gangsters Unlimited, head gangster speaking. How may I help you? A woman answers.
Who is this? Put my boo on the phone. You burning up my minutes trying to be funny. Stop playing so much. You know I got prepaid.
It was Queen, a member of the Diva Squad and also owner of Q's Beauty and Barber Salon. She's business and hood smart and always keeps herself looking right. Swift sets the phone down on the counter and calls down the hall for Lil Big Homie, another Hustla Nation member who, up until now, had been chilling in his room. Lil Big is a nice guy who will do anything to smoke some herb. Lil Big emerges from his room with a slow stride down the hallway into the kitchen. He daps Swift and picks up the phone. It's your girl. She crying about me burning up her minutes. But I was just keeping it gangster. Swift rolls his eyes and lets out a small laugh before heading back into the living room. She got him sprung. I hope I never get like that over no broad, Maniac offered to the group. Lil Big speaks into the phone. Hey, booby. You almost here? Swift looks at Lil Big Homie in the kitchen making kissing faces. Lil Big Homie becomes irritated and puts his index finger to his mouth, motioning to Swift to knock it off.
We about 45 minutes away. Make sure you got one rolled up for me when we get there. Your connect coming through?
Queen asks through the phone. For sure, booby. I got you. Now just hurry up and get over here.
Who you talking to like that? Don't be frontin' cause your homies is all right there.
Queen blasts back. Don't worry about that. I just want you to get over here before the party start cracking so we can spend some one-on-one time, babe. Lil Big simps.
Okay, that sound better. I'm on my way.
They hang up. Lil Big Homie walks into the living room for the first time today. Though it was on everybody's mind, Swift finally said it aloud. She punked you, man! Everyone begins laughing and voicing their agreements, and of course what they would have said. Despite not liking being put on blast, they were gonna be having a party tonight, and he was for sure gonna be getting some. So he let the comment virtually pass, only adding, I'm just trying to keep her happy. But forget all that. Let's put one in the air before she get here so we can start this party. Swift gets up from the couch and meets Lil Big Homie in the kitchen, where they briefly roll up some more weed. As they both work, perfecting their art, Funk attempts to make his way into the kitchen. Both Swift and Lil Big Homie give him a look that says, not right now, player. Not right now, homie. Funk takes the hint and returns to the living room. The good vibes of the weed aren't enough to keep L the Hustler from boasting out loud though about beating Money Green in the NBA Live game. I told you, Money, you shouldn't have played me. Now you over there looking like Michael Jackson at Neverland Ranch when he got caught messing with them kids, nigga. The shit talking continues. The farther the game goes and the deeper his lead reaches. Soon, the game is over and L begins calling for his next Vic. Maniac volunteered. I'll play you after I take this shit. Damn, my tooth is killing me. The added portion about Maniac's tooth was justified as he rose off the couch with a look of pain, grabbing the right side of his mouth. L had no sympathy. Nigga, I don't take food stamps as an entry fee. Before stepping into the bathroom, Maniac yells back, is that right? I heard they took your girl food stamps for a tummy tuck last year. With that, Maniac steps to the bathroom and closes the door behind him. Funk, who had been relatively quiet up to this point, speaks up offering to play against L. Why you always so funky though, bro? Nigga, I been told you it's a culture thing. Damn. I took a shower before I came over here. It's the food I eat. It come out of my pores. I still pull ladies all the time though. Matter of fact, I had 2 bad ones checking me out on the way over here, Funk retorted. Yeah, and they probably stink too, nigga. L shot back to a room full of laughter. Damn, is it everybody talk shit about Funk Day? He said, irritated. Instead of apologizing or easing up Funk, L and Swift began to lay into him in Money Green. But talking about Money and how he simps and buys everything for his girlfriend was even better. Money always explained everything away with the fact that men are supposed to take care of their ladies and meet their needs. Of course, this argument just entertains the other guys and allow them to just continue their bagging fest. Once the shit talking gets a little old, Puff asks, can I come to your little party tonight? I know that's your homie Swift, but he can't come nowhere if he don't learn how to start passing the damn blunt, L the Hustler explained. I'ma pass the blunt, I just lit it. And who is you, the blunt inspector? You know I got accepted into college. I'll start next semester. And those niggas from the skinny jean crip wanna jump me in, but I told them I ain't wearing no tight ass jeans. They got me fucked up. When Puff Puff finally decides to pass the blunt, it's halfway gone. But it didn't really make a difference since Lil Big and Swift put another 2 in the rotation. The members of the Hustla Nation finished off their session feeling good about the party they was gonna be throwing tonight.